Welcome to Nothing Finer. I'm your host, Rick Beach, along with Austin Island.
Right.
Hey, it's game week. Finally made it. It seems like just a short time ago we was talking about camp starting.
Yes, sir.
So we finally made it to game week. Got a special show for y'all. We got UGA sideline reporter Chuck Dowdle on the phone.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Let's go ahead and get this interview started. Chuck, you there?
I'm there, Rick. Austin, good to talk to you.
Yeah, nice to meet you, sir.
Good to talk to you, sir. Now, this weekend they had the lightning strike up at East Lake at the golf course. Were you at the golf course when it happened?
I was in Kennebunkport, Maine.
Oh, man, kind.
Yeah, well, where it was, by the way, where it was 48 degrees yesterday morning.
Woo.
Wow. Nice.
That's good football weather right there.
It was perfect. I was getting ready for it.
All right, so let's go ahead. And I wanted to ask you some questions. Now, you grew up in Atlanta. Do you have any early memories of UGA football?
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of early memories. I mean, particularly the game that I'll always remember is the big upset over Alabama with the flea flicker play and Van Hotson, who ironically is a neighbor of mine now. But at that time, you know, I was so thrilled that Georgia had upset Alabama. I had a neighbor down the street who was a big Roll Tide fan, and you know, there's nothing more obnoxious than an Alabama fan. And so for Georgia to pull off that victory over Alabama, at that time they were undefeated number one, and for the Dogs to pull off that big upset, that's just a great memory for me.
Oh, that's awesome right there. Yeah, there's Bama fans can be rather obnoxious.
Yeah.
So, you think?
And what did it mean for you when you came in to replace Lauren Smith, being, you know, he was a legend down here and after being in Atlanta for so many years?
It still is. It was, I'll be honest with you, when they first approached me about doing it, I wanted to make sure that was, you know, acceptable to Lauren. But that was something that he was on board with. And so they offered, since I was already doing the coaches, both the TV shows and post-game radio, they thought it would just be an easy transition to slide into that. The only problem for me was I had to give up my wonderful seat up in the press box where I could see everything and go down to the sideline where, I'll be honest with you, unless the play is occurring right in front of you, if it happens to be going down the field opposite you, it's tough to see, because and you'll even notice coaches and players those guys are so big it's hard to see past it to see what's happening on the other end of the field. So what you end up doing, and if you'll notice on the sideline, a lot of the coaches do this too, they end up looking up at the big screen at the monitor,
yes.
You know, at the big screen on the scoreboard to watch plays that are on the opposite end, because those guys, you know, they're 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", and they're 300 pounds, and they've got on all that equipment and helmets and shoulder pads, and it's tough to see past them.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Chuck, we know you've been doing this for a few years now and been there since the Mark Richt era, but what's your favorite part of what's your favorite moment so far of the Kirby Smart era, being on the sideline?
Oh, wow. There are a bunch of them.
Yeah.
I think probably, if you'll allow me to, the two that I have would be post-game on the field with Coach Smart right after winning the SEC championship over Auburn, and Kirby grabbing me and into the microphone. He yelled, I asked him, I said, how happy are you? He said, I'm so happy. I'm happy for these kids. I'm happy. He said, Chuck, I'm even happy for you. and that's certainly one. And then the other one that I'll have that I'll always remember is the game-winning play in overtime against Oklahoma in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, totally.
You know, when you're in that iconic setting and you come from behind and beat a great tradition, a program that's so rich in tradition like Oklahoma in overtime with that play, it was just, that was a moment I will never forget. Never forget.
Right.
All right, now with Georgia going to Neyland Stadium later this year, it got me thinking about the loud stadiums. how loud is Neyland Stadium, and what's it compared to any other stadiums in the SEC?
Well, you know what? It's loud when Tennessee's playing well. I got to tell you something. In recent trips up there, it hadn't been all that loud.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the fans, by the time the game was being decided, you know, they were gone, long gone. You know, now I'm sure that Jeremy Pruitt is going to have some success, but it's going to take a while. But yeah, that's a loud place. You know, they put 100,000 plus in there. Another one of those great plays that we all recall is the hobnail boot call from Larry Munson, and that was a last-minute come-from-behind victory by Georgia. And at that time, they had not won there in 2 decades, and they come from behind as a big underdog. And it was the first road signature win for Mark Richt in his tenure at Georgia. And it meant so much to him and to that team and to that program, to the Georgia program at that time, that, you know, that's one also that sticks in my mind.
Yeah, definitely. That was a kind of put us, they say, the glass ceiling. We come through with Rick having that win really pushed us up for the next year being the SEC championship season.
Totally.
So hopefully this year.
I'll tell you a quick story about that game. First off, let me give you a little history, a little background. I've known Mark Richt since he was a senior in high school. I was working at the ABC affiliate in Miami, Florida, when Mark was playing football at Boca Raton High School. And so we used to cover him. He was one of the hottest prospects coming out of high school in the country. And he signed. He turned down some other offers and signed with the University of Miami. So then I covered him throughout his career, where he was basically holding the clipboard for Jim Kelly. But nevertheless, he was on that team, and so I knew Mark. Well, when he comes to the University of Georgia and I start doing his coach's show with him, that was, I believe, that was our 3rd game of the year. That year was the Tennessee game, but it was our first road game. We'd won our opener. We'd lost at home against South Carolina. And then we were going to Tennessee to play the Vols there, and again, huge underdogs. And Mark calls me and says, "Hey, why don't you come over here Friday, meet me in my office?" He says, around noon, he says, "We'll go grab lunch, and then we'll go get the bus." At that time, the team bused to Atlanta to fly out of Atlanta. And he says, "We'll grab the bus and go on to Hartsfield to fly up to Knoxville." And I said, "Sure." So I go meet him in his office, and we sit there and you know, kind of chew the fat for a few minutes. And he says, "Let's go grab lunch." And we get up, we walk out of his office, and the Buttsmere building at that is pretty much empty. Everybody, it's the day before a road game, and pretty much everybody's taken off already. And he locks his office, and as we're walking down the hall, he stops, and his shoulders kind of droop. And I said, "What's the matter?" He says, "I left the game plan in my office." and I'm thinking, rookie, you know. And he turns around, he goes back, gets it, he comes walking back, and now I'm going to give him a hard time. I said, "Plan? We had a plan? We got a plan? Oh, this is great. I don't feel so bad now. We got a plan." And so I'm just kind of jerking his chain about, "Oh, we've got a plan." And to play Tennessee. So I'm like all excited, you know. So I'm giving him a hard time about that. Well, we fly to Knoxville, and I don't see him again on that Friday, or I don't see him certainly the morning of the game. And then after the game, you know how it ends with the hobnail boot play and David Green to Veron Haynes, and Georgia pulls off this incredible upset in Knoxville. And, you know, you see all those dejected Vol fans walking out in that ugly orange. And by the way, nobody looks good in orange.
Nobody.
And they're walking out of there, and Mark is coming off the field with our state troopers, who at that time were Steve and Dog, and they've got Mark. And so I'm just happy for him. And so I just kind of position myself so as they come running by, I put out my hand to shake his hand, and he grabs my hand and he puts his other hand up around my neck and pulls me down. And in my ear, he goes, "We had a plan."
That's pretty good.
That was a good one.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Chuck,
Yeah.
I know it's game week, and everybody's worried about football, but what's the buzz around Athens about Ann Edwards and this UGA basketball team?
Oh, there's a lot of buzz. I mean, ticket sales are through the roof. And let me just say now, I've already been to 3 different practices. You know, during the summer, they're allowed to work with the kids now on the floor and go through practices. And it's not just Anthony Edwards. But now, before I get to Anthony Edwards, let me just tell you this. If you walk in the gym and just look out across the floor, you don't have to ask which one is he.
Right.
Okay. He stands out. I mean, he definitely stands out from a physical nature. And by the way, he just turned 18 on August 5th.
Wow.
So, I mean, the kid's just turning 18 years old. But his physical presence is amazing. But they have got talent now. They've got 10 new players on that roster. And I want everybody to remember the name Camarda, too. They've got a young man out of South Florida who is, I believe, going to be, he may be another 2 and done. If Anthony Edwards is a 1 and done, this Camarda kid may be a 2 and done. If we're lucky, maybe 3.
Wow.
But he won't be here all 4 years. That I'm sure of. He is a terrific talent. And then they've got this little kid that you look at him and you go, there's no way that kid's a basketball player. He's about 5'9". His name's Savir, Savihr, Savir Wheeler. He's out of Texas, and he's a point guard. If he's 5'10", he's standing on his tiptoes. He's got this little fire plug type build. I mean, you look at him and you go, that kid's not even an athlete. And then he gets on the floor, and when I tell you that he is cat quick, I mean, he's got quickness that you have to see to believe. And I think fans are going to love watching that young man play.
Awesome.
Yeah, we've really got a lot of faith in what Tom Crean's building, and we
Absolutely
think this is going to be the year we can finally, have a little more pride in the basketball team. And
now understand, having said all this, these 10 kids, they're freshmen. They're true freshmen.
Yeah.
And coaches will tell you the best thing in the world about freshmen, they become sophomores. and that you have to take that into consideration.
Right.
But I will tell you this, Tom Crean is doing a tremendous job of elevating the talent level that is coming into Georgia. And I don't know if you've noticed, and really, I'm not a big on following recruiting on the websites and stuff, but I have taken notice in recent months that there are a lot of the really terrific players in the country that mention Georgia now when they start to mention, the Dukes and the North Carolinas and the Kansas and the Kentuckys, and they throw Georgia in there. And just the fact that they're talking about Georgia, is great for the future of Georgia basketball.
Mm-hmm. Shoot you. One last question before we get you off there. I know you was working in Atlanta for 25 years at WSB. So you was there when the Braves won the World Series in '95. What would it mean to the state if UGA could pull it off and win the national championship?
Well, that would be the absolute, that'd be the candles on the cake. I mean, it was wonderful when the Braves won the World Series and Tom Glavine pitched that 1-0 David Justice with a solo home run over the Cleveland Indians. But I got to tell you, for Georgia to win a national title, which is going to happen. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be this year, but it's going to be in the next couple of years. Kirby's just he's got too good a staff, and he's assembling too much talent here in Athens not to.
Right.
And so they're going to win a national title. And to me, that will be the ultimate. That will absolutely be the ultimate, to see the Dogs with that trophy coming back to the Butts-Mehre facility.
Yeah.
Shoot you. Well, we appreciate you being on, Chuck.
Absolutely.
It's a pleasure.
And
absolutely enjoy talking to you guys.
And we can't wait to hear you this weekend. Finally,
yeah.
football starting back. So go Dogs.
Go Dogs. All right, Rick, Austin, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
You too.
All right. Well, that's pretty cool having Chuck
that was
Dowdle
awesome.
come on here and tell us some good stories about the past UGA, the game plan being left against them.
Totally.
We had good thing Rick had P44 hands to pull out there at the end. So that was pretty good. Excited for this weekend. Game week. We're gonna roll right into our Vandy preview. We're looking at them. They got not much on defense, Austin.
No.
Looking at their defense, I think they got 2 seniors is what I saw.
Yeah,
Really-
no one of note on the
Yeah, no
defense
one of
side.
note.
But Derek Mason, he'll have them all lined up right, and
He's a
he'll have them ready
defensive
to play.
guy.
So,
He's a defensive guy.
I'm not expecting
Stanford.
them to fold over or anything like that.
But,
so.
just they say it's X's and O's in the NFL, Jimmy's and Joe's in the college.
It is what it is.
And, you look at our Jimmy's and Joe's, we should be able to do what we need to do. But looking at their offense, they do have what they call the big three.
Yeah.
And you're looking, they got the tight end who tries to be a mismatch. Now, I don't know how we're going to handle it with, if we're going to
pretty big body.
Or if we move our star. So how do you think we're going to handle their tight end Pickney?
I think they'll put Tay on him until Tay proves that he can't.
Yeah, I mean, he's showed in the past he can handle coverage pretty well. That's kind of his not specialty, but he's real heady. Yeah. He knows the game. He knows what's going on, the game plan. Yeah. So he's pretty good about being in the right place. And if you put yourself in the right place, you're going to make plays.
But, I mean, we don't really know much about who they got behind center. So my initial guess would be that we'll just load the box to try and stop their two-headed running attack. Yeah. And then if we can stop that, then that'll, it'll keep them from being able to fully blossom with the pass like that.
Yeah, because they got Kalijah Lipscomb, I believe is his name, the wide receiver. Yep. So we're going to have to probably roll a safety over the top on that.
Yeah,
but they got a good running back.
Stokes will probably man-on-man Lipscomb. I mean, he's not some kind of game changer, but he's solid hands receiver and
it depends what they're running. They got Keyshawn Vaughn, who's part of the big three. So you got Lipscomb, Pickney, and Vaughn.
Yeah. But they got another running back too, Wakefield, Jamari Wakefield. He's pretty quick, pretty straight line speed guy.
But they don't have a quarterback. They haven't announced who the quarterback was going to be. They got
no announcement.
They got Deuce Wallace and Alan Walters, I believe. Yeah, Alan Walters. So we don't know which way they're going to go with that. I don't know if it's gamesmanship that Derek Mason's trying to play, or if he just don't really know who the quarterback's going to be.
He's got two guys that are probably super comparable, and it's just
not all the time. Every time a coach waits, people say, "Well, it's gamesmanship. He don't want the other team to know." Sometimes a coach just don't know who he's going to have.
I mean, if that's true, then why didn't Gus Malzahn withhold his announcement?
Right.
If gamesmanship was such a big deal, I mean, these kids haven't played yet, so even though you know their names and you don't know how to game plan for these kids. I think it's better to let them know so they can prepare as the starter all week. Yeah, because they need to be getting more reps if they're with the first team.
The ones and all that. But so Vandy, I don't see really being much of a threat to us for a win.
I see them coming out swinging right at the beginning, but as we lean on them,
we're going to wear them down. Depth becomes an issue. It's always been the issue for Vanderbilt. Yeah. Is they're not really a deep team. They don't have the skill, past their.
But I'll say I like Derek Mason though. I think he's intense dude. So
I like Derek. I
really enjoy watching him coach
when they play later in the season. Yeah, wears that bubble vest.
Yeah, I like the bubble vest. Yeah, he's sharp with that.
Looks like the Riot Squad or something when he comes out there. And
the toboggan.
He got the toboggan on. He got a Nike check sewn on that bubble vest because they didn't make it.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, that was he got the Nike check put on, then I believe they made him the next season.
Extra mile.
So, I like some Derek Mason. I think he's a good ball coach, but Vanderbilt, your hands are kind of tied.
Yeah, it's just.
So, I think it's going to be a lot of red in the stands. Yeah. I think it's going to be, it's always that way with Vanderbilt.
Yeah. You'll be there.
Yeah, I'll be up there and right behind the band, hopefully.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be close in maybe the first quarter.
That's the first time you've been to Nashville?
I've never been to Nashville.
That'd be cool.
So, that'd be pretty neat to, finally get to go in there, see what it's all about. It's a. Yeah. It's an SEC game, so it's always exciting. Yeah. And you got to look at it. There's always a threat of an upset in the SEC. But with the way we're recruiting and the way we're playing and building this program, it's finally time where we can't look at Vandy and say, they always play us tough. No, that's not the way we are now.
That's not this Georgia team anymore.
That's like an Alabama fan thinking Louisiana Monroe. That was a different.
Even if they do play us tough, it shouldn't come anywhere close.
No. I mean,
even if they give us everything they got, it still shouldn't be anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think a close game would be in the 20 point, and that would be trash points because I really don't see our emotion being fired up. We ain't going to come out.
Oh, it's ready to handle business.
Yeah, Kirby's all business. That's why they wear
suits, getting off the plane.
It's a business trip. It's always business, and it's straight business, and I think that's how it's going to be. Yeah. So I'm trying to look at the game and be, the pessimist that something bad's going to happen with this game. Right. Now, usually I feel that way, but something with these new teams
that Georgia's built, don't feel it anymore.
I just think,
nothing stresses you, Yeah,
the first half might be, a couple possession games. Then after that, they'll break.
And you remember we trailed Vanderbilt for all of 2 plays last year.
Yeah, the first time we trailed on
it was one of the only teams we trailed all year long.
They kicked the field goal, I think, and then Fromm threw the bomb to Godwin and we scored. And it was like, well, that was quick. Yeah. That was I'd like to be able to tell people how exciting and close this game's going to be, but I really don't feel it. I think Georgia's going to win. If I had to give a score, I'd probably go 45-14. Just thinking because we're going to run the ball there in the second half. We're just going to run, eat clock. They might get a.
I see 45-14. I don't think we'll hit 50 just because I don't think we'll be
pressing
too hard. But I think we're at the point now as Georgia fans where we, instead of worrying about the game, when we play games like this, we're worried about what individual Georgia players are doing. We want to see Fromm come out and have a clean game. We want to see Zamir.
I think everybody wants to see Zamir. That's the one everybody's looking for this weekend. Everybody wants to see Zamir finally get to see him this weekend.
Oh, he's going to tote the rock, guarantee you.
Oh, ain't no doubt in that. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
And, we've been waiting a long time.
And we want to see LeCount wrap up. That's all fans want to see that.
We want to see Zamir tote the rock. We want to see LeCount wrap up, take him to the ground, quit bouncing off of people.
Yeah.
And really, for us, it's get through these next 3 games unscathed.
Yeah,
get Notre Dame unscathed.
And get some experience, get the wide receiver some experience, and
that's where our worrying will kick in. Especially, I'll start worrying with Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame week, be a wreck.
They can slip up and beat you. Notre Dame, for how they've played against the SEC, they did play us tough a couple years ago, and that was a defense. In 2017, that was pretty stout. That defensive line was pretty stout. We had Big John Atkins, Hawkins Muckle, so it's rolling in pretty good team back then.
Yeah, and I think it's, Brian Kelly is a good coach, man, and Notre Dame goes through a lot. They go through a lot of criticism about, obviously, they not performing on the big stage. But, man, you got to give respect to Notre Dame because they play one of the toughest schedules year in, year out. They don't play any of these. Well, they do, 1 or 2. But week in, week out, they're playing the USCs, the Stanfords, the Georgias,
Well, you think with their conference affiliation with the ACC, they get, I think, 5 ACC games a year. So you mix that, then they're going to play USC every year. So for them to come out and say, we'll play a Georgia, and in the future they play Alabama. So they're lining up these games, so you have to look at them and give them a little respect.
Got to.
At least they're coming out trying, where, there's other independents, say BYU, who aren't, scheduling as big of games outside where Notre Dame's trying. Now, last year, the Clemson game, it got out of hand for them.
Yeah.
But look what Clemson did to Alabama. Exactly. So you kind of look around and say,
well, that's the big, they can make it there, but once they get to the big stage, they kind of have a hard time. But I know we run out of time, so Florida, Miami, we picked
this weekend.
Yeah, we picked. Both of us picked Miami to win outright, which if anybody who watched the game sees how that could have easily been a possibility.
It was there. It was there for them to win.
Yeah,
and they just, the offensive line they had just wasn't ready for that.
Well, just both offensive lines on both sides were nothing short of terrible. I mean,
but we knew
especially
that about
Miami's. Yeah,
we knew Miami was going to be struggling.
Yeah, Florida's was surprisingly bad.
Right,
but a lot of people will chalk it up to Florida's pass rush being intense, which they were. They got good guys, but that's if you watch the whole game.
No, it's the same ones.
It was Jabari and the other guy on the other end, and that's all they had. They couldn't rotate in like Georgia will do.
And they wasn't running exotic blitzes and all this crazy stuff. They're just going man to man, beating the guy, and that's fine. They could do that, and maybe they got this great defense but I didn't see it Saturday.
It was just such a sloppy game. I mean, it was like both of them just handing the game to each other. I mean, Florida tried to give that game to Miami so many different times, and Miami just offensive line was so behind and so bad that they couldn't grab it.
Yeah, they had the interception when Franks threw the pick after talking to the camera and throws but then Blades gets the personal foul, so it puts them back. So they would have had the ball at the 25-yard line. Instead, they get it further back. So they tried to.
Yeah, well, that's the big story for me is undisciplined.
The way they looked on the sideline. The way Florida handled themselves. The player getting yelled at by Mullen and he was smiling.
4th and 34. Pass interference call.
Yeah, undisciplined.
I mean, all you had to do was just nothing. You didn't have to do anything, and you could have got the ball back.
Does it surprise you that the Todd Grantham defense is undisciplined?
Not at all. Not at all.
How about 2013, Prayer Jordan Hare? Knock it down.
Yeah.
Knock it down.
Knock it down.
Undisciplined football leads to a tip pass going the other way for Auburn.
Now, what I didn't notice through the game, which I kind of did, but I was paying so much attention to how bad Miami's O-line is that it kind of slipped. LaMichael Pirine, 52 yards on over 10 carries. After the game, are you surprised that Dan Mullen said they weren't really trying to establish the run?
They didn't really seem to have the ball. They had the 2 fumbles.
Yeah.
So, they didn't – I don't think they have any way to establish the run. Yeah. You look at that offensive line.
Yeah, you can't.
It's not an offensive line that you're going to be able to run behind for an entire game. Yeah. They're built to spread you out, try to get one-on-one, and then like they did on their touchdown with Tony – is just beat you with pure speed.
Yes.
And so you look at it.
Yeah, they couldn't go vertical.
No,
Felipe Franks could not go vertical.
No, he had a couple guys open. He hit one guy on a long pass,
and
he threw a couple out of bounds.
The offensive line play is so bad that Dan's wanting to put these things in Felipe Franks' hands.
Yeah,
which is giving him way too much responsibility. So basically, this year is all about Dan Mullen living and dying by Felipe Franks, which, trust me, he will die multiple times.
Yeah. You look at them coming up, they're going to have, I think, 3 losses before they get to Georgia. I think Auburn's going to beat them, LSU's going to beat them, and I still believe Tennessee's going to beat them.
Yeah, you've been calling for that one for a long time.
I feel Pruitt's just going to have them more disciplined.
Yeah.
And a disciplined team's going to beat an undisciplined team,
yeah.
No matter what the talent. And the talent ain't that much better than what Tennessee has. Tennessee's brought in some transfers, so they're rolling in there, and I really think that's going to happen.
Yeah. But, yeah, that was my main stories on the O-line play, horrible. Yeah. Florida D-line, talented, but no depth, no kind of rotation, and just undisciplined football. So.
All right, so and this week we're going to look at a couple games, a couple of them from the other side of the river.
When you look
Bama
at versus Duke.
Bama Duke. It's like we're talking about with Vanderbilt, with Georgia. I think Duke's got probably one of the best coaches in the football with Cutcliffe, but talent-wise, they're not going to be able to hang. I think that's going to be one of those 52-7, 52-10 type games.
Yeah, well, Cutcliffe's going to try and scheme up early and hit a big play and try and build whatever momentum you can, So, but yeah, I'll go Bama by 35-40.
Right. Then the other game, I was looking at Notre Dame and Louisville. I know Louisville's trying to get this rebuild, but I'm thinking Notre Dame still. This is their only big game before the Georgia game.
Yeah.
But I still think Notre Dame's going to win 20, 30-point win.
Yeah, I'll go Notre Dame by 17-21 somewhere.
17-20. And the big game this weekend for the whole country, and especially in this area, you got Auburn and Oregon.
Yeah, huge game.
You got Auburn.
Huge game.
Auburn named Bo Nix starting quarterback. Yeah. Oregon got that Herbert.
Justin Herbert.
And he's a good
quarterback.
Possibly
the first quarterback taken in the draft.
He's a first-round pick, no doubt.
Yeah.
So you're looking at this could be a really tight game. All summer, I kind of saw Oregon, but the closer we get, I think this Auburn defense is legit.
It's too good.
It's one of the best defenses in the country.
Yeah.
And I think it's way better than anything Oregon's ever seen or they're going to see. And I don't think Bo Nix is going to have to do a lot with what this defense is going to be doing.
Yeah, I think Auburn squeaks went out, but I will say this defense is super talented. But I want to see Derek Brown do a better job at stopping the run. Excellent pass rusher, super just monster of a dude. But to see him be more consistent,
the only way I can see Auburn messing up is if Gus does a Gus.
Yeah,
if Gus could get in his own way, which everybody's excited about him calling plays.
Yeah,
so he could get in his own way.
Which to me, I kind of feel like he's already done a Gus by starting Nix over Gatewood because to me the safest bet is to always start a guy who's been there, just because you got this true freshman. If you start him and pull him, that could ruin his psyche, ruin his confidence for the whole rest of the season instead of bringing him in.
That's all the time we got this week. We're going I think Auburn's going to pull it out.
Yeah.
NothingFinerPod.com, at NothingFinerPod on Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube. Go Dogs. God bless.